All right, guys, we are live. We are live. Man, this has been crazy. Let me give it a second for us to get live on Instagram. Man, this is what? Hey, what? What a week. And I see that my connection isn't so great. So my Starlink isn't working so great. Great. Well, anyway, if you guys can hear me, give me the thumbs up. Let me know where you're watching from. Looks like my Starlink internet is not giving me the fast internet that I need. I keep freezing, it looks like. But if you guys can hear me, let me know. Give me a thumbs up to let me know that you guys can hear me. Unfortunately, my connection has been a bit unstable here. From my end, it looks like everything is working fine, but when I'm looking over here at Instagram, I can see there's some issues. As you can see, I am in a house that has been covered up for months, that I was not meant to go live from. Unfortunately, I had to go live from here because of the time. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you guys can hear me. Let me know if you guys can see me. Am I freezing? Am I buffering? If I am, let me know. I might have to change over to another internet connectivity. On Instagram, okay, I'm freezing from time to time, it says. All right, so I'm going to connect directly to the Starlink and see what happens. So give me a second, guys. If you guys are watching, give me 1 second to try to connect to the Starlink. I'll be right back. Connected to the You guys see me now? Okay, how's that? Is that better? Am I still freezing? Let me know. Am I back? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, and if you can see me, and if I'm still freezing. So a couple things real quick. As you can see, I'm not in my standard location. I guess it's a little bit better than before. I'm connecting directly to the Starlink. Okay, so I am in the guest house on the property that I have been building for the last 4 years. The entire property has 3 different structures on it. It has a guest house, which is a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom. You can see a bedroom back there. I'm in Sierra Leone, by the way, for those who don't know. And yes, I'm wearing the merch. Before slavery re-ruled, 711 AD to 1492 AD. So anyway, I am in Sierra Leone. I'm at the guest house. And this guest house was not ready for me to move into yet, and I'm gonna tell you all about it. I'm grateful for the fact that my internet seems to be working a little bit better if I connect directly to the Starlink router that's up. So that's telling me where the problem is. But yes, or sorry, the Starlink satellite, which has a router in it, and it's up on the roof facing north. So where do I start? I mean, obviously, I'm here at the guest house. I wasn't planning to be here in this particular way. I had expected to be here for sure, but I expected to be here with this place cleaned up, with this couch uncovered comfortably. And the way I'm here is I got stuck here because we were in the middle of doing a bunch of changes here, and all of the changes that needed to be made were happening right up until about 8:59, where I saw the plumber head back, and then I just decided to stick around and go live, and try to get live as soon as possible. So it's been a disaster, guys, to say the very least. I can't even tell you how difficult it's been trying to get all of this stuff off the ground. But I'll walk you through it all because I think it's important for you guys to kind of hear what this can look like if you make the mistakes that I had made. So for many of you guys who don't know me, I guess I could do a quick intro. I've done a lot of talking and many of you guys may not even be aware of who I am. So my name is Joe Otago. I'm a Sierra Leone American. I spent the last 10 years of my life traveling around and investing on the continent of Africa, most specifically in Sierra Leone. I am a dual citizen to Sierra Leone in the United States, and I'm also a resident of Ghana. Lived in Ghana for a little over 2 years, lived in Sierra Leone for a little over a year. And throughout that time, I worked in Ghana as the head of advertising for a company called Jumia. And I worked in Sierra Leone as an entrepreneur, working for myself with a social media agency. So that, and of course, being an influencer or a content creator, I should say. So I've been building this house. Bought the land in 2018, started building in 2019, and really got serious 2020 and 2021 when I moved to the continent. I started with this guest house. I'm on my 5th contractor. So I started with this guest house here. But before I got to this guest house, I had to build a fence around the property. We had to do some excavation. We had to do the foundation, and then start building this structure. So I did that. And I moved in here actually in October of 2023. I remember it very well because there wasn't very much in here. This couch had to be purchased later. There was another couch that was in here. Had to get a refrigerator. Had to buy a bunch of stuff. So when I first moved in here, I was sitting on lawn chairs. In the living room, I just had lawn chairs. Stuff was shipped, stuff was bought, and this place was filled up. Throughout the years, especially in 2022, I had already shipped some stuff to Ghana. So then I shipped all of that stuff to Sierra Leone, and a bunch of that stuff was stored in here. And then in 2024, I started the process of building what is now the main structure right next door. And then I also did a caretaker's quarters for the caretakers who live on site, and they have a space on the site. So with all that being said, I did this without working with one particular contractor. I worked with 5 overtime just because of all the different challenges that I ran into, which I've talked about at length. I'll share that with you guys later. But let's talk about what's happened on this trip, because that's really what you guys are here for, if you saw the title and if you saw the thumbnail. So I landed here a little over 2 weeks ago. And I was actually, it was a Sunday, the week before last. And I was only supposed to be here till yesterday. I was planning to fly to Ghana yesterday. I should be there today. And I would have been in Ghana yesterday and today, but later yesterday and today. The reason why I'm not there is because there was a number of different things that I found out once I got here. First of which, the power that powers this country, EDSA, does not have electrical power to this house when it once did. So, when you do the electrical poles here, sometimes they just put them in random places. So when I signed up for my service with EDSA, the electrical company, they brought in a pole into the property. So it's sitting kind of in the middle of the way. But because there was only a guest house here, there was nothing else on the property, it was kind of like, who cares? It's not in the way of anything for real, because there's just a bunch of like dirt and, plants and trees over there. And then there's this guest house right here. So I just dealt with it there until the time came to start doing additional work to kind of clear the space for the guest house and the main house. Then we had to move the electrical pole to another location. Well, when I got here to the place, I noticed that I didn't hear the normal beeping sound when you haven't paid your electrical bill, right? Because generally it's not monthly, right? You pay as you go. So generally every once in a while I put in like 100 leones, like the local currency, 200 leones, whatever it is, to just have enough light for whatever might be necessary if somebody needs to charge their phone or whatever. So I'd done that. So while I'm gone, there's just some light there. I hadn't done it in a couple months, but I hadn't even thought about the fact that there was no light on premises. So I got here, and that's what I found out. There was no light. I'm like, why isn't it working? What's going on with the light? So the electrician who did it, of course, he has all kinds of aches and pains. He can't come. His boss is pissed that guy did it without talking to him, and so neither of them were able to help. I got another electrician to come here to try to help out. Still not working. So the generator that I don't know if you guys can hear in the background has been on since about 11 a.m. and it is 9:41 p.m. It's not advisable to be running a generator that long. And I have turned it on and off throughout time for a little bit. But it's not advisable to run it that long because, you know, it's not meant to run that long, right? You're supposed to run it for periods of time. So I'm just gonna go live quickly here to give you guys this story, and then I'm gonna turn it off. I'm gonna get up out of here, give it a night to rest, because I'm gonna be right back here tomorrow morning using it again. So back to the story. So that was the first issue that is still unsolved, which is why I'm not living in here comfortably. So now let's talk about the next thing. So when I got here, I'm like, well, let me just start upgrading stuff. So I upgraded the shower heads, upgraded the bidet, upgraded the internet. I have Starlink here now. I put in an AC unit in the bedroom here, put a hot water heater in as well. So I did all these things. And after installing all these things, that's when I discovered there were more problems. There were leaks in the house, multiple leaks. We're talking 2 toilets leaking, bidets leaking, the overall water source into the space leaking, all having to be replaced. Also had to replace the shower heads and all of that stuff too, because what was in place, the screws, the knobs weren't working. So I had to replace all of that. We just figured out how to make the AC turn on, but then the display doesn't work. So only the display on the remote works. So I have to have them come back and fix that. But at least I got AC in the house, right? Because you need that AC. It gets hot out here around these parts. And so AC is absolutely important. So AC's done. Why do I look so dark? Why does it look so dark in that last? Let me do this. Is this better? Is this lighting better? You guys let me know if this lighting is better. It may not even be better. Let's see. Do you want me to hold it? Okay. So that was like a big challenge and a big issue. So so the AC doesn't work. Well, the AC works now, just that bad. Then the hot water. So we had a hot water installed, and we were just testing it like maybe less than an hour ago. It's not working. I don't know why it's not working. It's just not working. Light bulbs don't work. So you guys can probably see there's a light coming from back there. So the light in the bathroom works, and one of the lights in that bedroom back there works. The light in the bedroom here works. None of the lights in the bathroom here works. So I have to get that fixed. There's just, a lot of different things that need to get fixed and done. And I'm grateful for the fact that I can fix it. The financial means are there to do it. It's just I'd like to not have had to do it. It had been done right the first time. But yeah, it's been an interesting experience so far. People are always asking me, what's the update on the house progress? And the main house itself, we did waterproofing upstairs. We did a row of blocks all around it. I'll share some videos later. Added a step in the upstairs here so that people can step down and it's not so steep. I fixed the walkway between the 2 buildings. It was just like rubble, basically. So I did all that, fixed that. Maybe should I try to give you guys a preview of that? Do you guys want to see that? Let me know in the comments if you guys want to see that. I know there are a bunch of people watching right now. So you guys have been kind of silent on your thoughts about the circumstances so far. Usually people have a lot more to say about everything that I'm mentioning, but it's been a silent live stream today. Not too many comments. But I can see if I can send over some videos via, what's this thing called? I can send over some videos via AirPlay. Let's see. AirDrop, sorry, not AirPlay, AirDrop. So let me see if I can send those over. If they go over, it looks like they're on their way. All right. So let me just do a quick show of a couple of things that did go right. Let me at least say that, right? I don't want to just do only complaining, because you know there were a couple things that I really wanted to get done and they got done. So I'm excited about that. Let's see if I can just find the videos of those. Okay, it's under downloads. IMG 85. IMG 85. So, somebody's calling me while I'm on live stream. They always do that. They always do that when I'm on live stream. And I tell everybody what my live stream is, and they always call me on my live stream time. Okay, here we go. Let me show you guys these videos. There we go. Let me do one more. Just so you guys can see a little bit about what I've been working on, like today, for example. And it just seems like so trivial, right? Because it's like, okay, you added some stuff, cool. But man, let me tell you how it's a game changer. How much doing something so simple feels so so rewarding, because it's not easy to get this stuff done. All right, here we go. So I'm gonna take you guys up. So they're adding. Let's see.
It's or granite, we say in the States.
Okay, so this
say granites now here. So they're gonna add.
This is all dirt, all the way up to the top there. And what we're doing is we've filled it in, and then we started to add cement to kind of make it a little better. Let's see, it's slow to show up on the screen. Something keeps happening here. Let's see. First of all, let me do this.
Third was filled in to fill out that whole space.
So now you can see we filled in that space, and then let me just show you what it finally came up.
So this all is filled in now. So now, once it dries, it'll be about this color here. And so now you'll have this whole space here where it's like water will just be able to flow down here, out of here. Much cleaner than before. Just dirt all in there. So much better. This is not the final version. This will probably be tiled at some point in the future.
I'm talking over the audio. But as you can see, there's a walkway now, and that wall, like I'm pointing at it, saying that all has to be cleaned off, because that's like water damage and dirt and all of that had been hitting that. Once they start working upstairs, the runoff down the side of the building just makes it look so dirty. This is the side entrance. This door was not supposed to be an outside door. They kept the plastic on it. It's just crazy, and you see it's like damaged. It's like so many things. But let me see if I got a video of the inside at the very least, so that you guys are not looking at this like this guy spent years and years on this and nothing's happened. Let me see if I can show you some of the updates. Let's see here. I'm going to send you guys some updates, some videos. I want to show you some videos actually. I'll send you guys, so you can see some of the other things that I have done while here. You know what? Let's see if I can get all these up. And you guys will be able to see. And by the way, I'm winging this, guys. It's been a long day. So I didn't want to just leave on a bad note. I want to show you that there's some progress that has been made. So we had the waterproof on top of the, like waterproofing on top of the, okay, here we go. On top of the main house. Let me see if I could just upload these as media files. I don't know if that's the best way to do it. There's no faster way to do this. I gotta add them one by one, don't I? All right, let me just add them one by one. Bear with me, guys. I'm just gonna add these videos one by one as required by this process. Okay, I'll do that while I'm doing that. So the AC is there. So that's the AC, guys. You guys are seeing the AC on your screen, which I'm really excited about because There was no AC before today. Then I'll show you the new. Well, no, I don't want to show you the new shower. Take care of the shower, right? Okay, let's show you the waterproofing. So this is the waterproofing that we started doing today. Can't really tell what that is, but that's waterproofing. It's on the ground there, up to the left hand corner. Let me see what else I can share with you guys. Let's see. I'm just going through and looking at everything that I just sent over. So I showed you the waterproofing upstairs. Let me see. Wow. Okay, let me show you guys these videos. Okay, this is good. Okay. So what you're seeing here is, wait, there's no actual video beyond that. Oh, all right. So I was about to build some steps in that section, and I built the steps there. That's basically what happened there. Anyway, guys, I will just say, let me walk you through all the things that we're done, because I was trying to show you guys videos, but it's really hard to do when you got to try to set them up one by one. It's just a lot, and I didn't get a chance to do it today. So we had a tarp, and like they had like these sticks, these wooden sticks, basically creating a rooftop, a makeshift rooftop, and there was tarp on top of that. It was tearing, it was collapsing on itself, water was getting in, it was seeping in, messed up all the electrical work in the main house, so which all has to get redone now. But instead of doing that, I'm doing pans on top of it now. So like what some of the rooftops look like here, spent a little extra money, but that's going to be what's on the rooftop. And then I'm also going to have waterproofing as a secondary measure to ensure that water doesn't get through. So so that is what you can anticipate that I'll be showing you guys in the near future in these vlogs that I'll be doing on the house update and the progress. But yeah, so I set that up, and that took forever. So the waterproofing, setting up the blocks, waiting for the stuff to be delivered. I mean, the stuff was all supposed to be delivered Friday. Saturday was supposed to be done. Sunday was supposed to be the finishing touches, and today was supposed to be good to go. And I was supposed to be moving in today as well. So that didn't work out. But I put the waterproofing in now, so that's all done. I had Starlink installed since I've been here. I had an AC installed since I've been here. Hot water heater installed. Cleared out the walkway between the two buildings. My gutter in the side of the property. So I had a gutter in the side of my property where water was just continuously flowing into it, and dirt and stuff was flowing into it. We dug that gutter. It's about 2 feet deep. So this much compacted full of dirt from all the excavation that was happening to the buildings that are on site. They were just dumping that dirt into the gutter. And so water was just flooding everywhere. So we had to now do excavation of that, had to fix a wheelbarrow so they could put it in the wheelbarrow, take it out, and dump it outside. So that's all been done now. So, and I also had to pay for cement so that I could bring the height of the gutter up a little bit so that, it can continue to stop water, dirt from falling into it, but only water can get into it. What else did I do? I did the waterproofing, did the gutter, did the AC hot water heater, replaced the shower heads and all the shower stuff, and the bidets in the bathrooms. What else did I do so far? And this is, by the way, in the last like 5 days, because all of this I had to mobilize people in the last 5 days to get all this done. You have no idea how difficult that was, but it's the name of the game. It is what it is. You gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah, any questions? It's rare that like we go this whole time, no questions, comments, thoughts. Okay, sorry. Tough lesson in project management. Never release final payment until you sign off on the punch list yourself. Escrow exit in precisely this reason. So JFC is right about that. That was what I did in the main house. I made my last payment because that was to finalize the internal workings of the main house. Instead of breaking that up into two payments, I made the one final payment, and then of course the issue now is chasing after them to do the work that needed to be done correctly to make sure that was done right. Now it was out of pocket for them because they made a lot of mistakes. It's a whole nother conversation for another day, but JFC is right about that. As far as the guest house is concerned, I was paying as I went along throughout those years. I just ended up moving on to different contractors, one after another after another. So Jada has a question. So this guest house is probably about, I would say it's about 700 square feet, 800 square feet. So it's basically shaped like the letter I, lowercase I, basically. So it's just kind of set up like this. So behind me, so this is the living room area. There's a couch here. I basically set up the office where this couch used to be, and there used to be like a single seater behind me. There's a little kitchenette right there. Let's see if I have enough internet connectivity. Maybe I could show you guys. You guys want to take a tour of this place with my laptop? Let's see if I can make this work. This is going to be an interesting experiment. What do you guys think? You guys want to take a tour of the place? Actually, let me keep this plugged in. I know what I'll do. I'll keep it plugged in, and I'll walk around with the light in hand, and then I'll just unplug it from the other laptops and computers. Let's see. All right. So I'm going to take you guys on a tour. You ready? I've never done this before. So let's see how this thing goes. All right. So we got some light. So the first things first, what you are seeing is the living room area. It is really messy in here because this was a storage unit for so long. There was just storing stuff in here. So this is the living room, has a window there. And then when you turn around, that is the door to exit. And that is the little kitchenette area where everything was covered. We're going to go into the bedroom here. So this is one of the bedrooms that got soaked in the rainy season. So I had to take everything out and I have to treat it for mold and all kinds of other stuff. But there's a window there and you can hear the generator behind. This is the bathroom that goes to that bedroom. As you can see, I just installed the new shower head. Very modern, state of the art. It has two different extensions, and then it has the rainforest shower as well. Has a window there, and then it has a sink. And yes, a strange mirror. That's not my design. Here's a closet I got from AA Enterprises. Not bad. All right, let me take you guys into. Hope this is interesting to you guys. I'm going to take you guys into the other bedroom. It's cool in here because that AC was just on. So there's the AC up there that I just installed yesterday. And then I'll take you guys into the bathroom here. But unfortunately, the light doesn't work in here. But this is the other bathroom. So this is the guest house. This is the other bathroom. So this is the guest house that I lived in for a couple of months in 2023 going into 2024. For about 6 months, actually, I lived in here. So, so upgrades are happening as we speak. And that's why I'm still here. That's why I haven't left Sierra Leone yet, because these upgrades are still ongoing. Did you guys find that useful? I'll do more of those in the future if I can. It's not that small. Originally. So here's the lesson that I learned. And for those of you who are building and you're not going to buy from one of these very large, developments, and you're going to build on your own. Like if you buy a plot of land, and you're going to build on your own. This is my recommendation to you. My recommendation is to fence it first. Build something that a caretaker can live on in the property, and then build a guest house before you build your main house. The reason why I say that is you build the guest house, you can come stay on the property while the main house is being worked on, as long as it's done right? which, you know, lessons have been learned. But for me, this made the most sense because during some of the early work, I was in here. And my mother had actually come to stay here at one point in time. And we were in here. We were just roughing it because, you know, we were doing how, you know, had to heat up the water in a tea kettle. Let me show you guys what I was heating up water in before I got the hot water heater. So we were heating up water in this. So just putting it on the stove, heating up the water in here, pouring it into a bucket and doing bucket baths. So that was what we were doing for a couple of months while I was staying here. But now I have a hot water heater set up. Hopefully it starts working, so I don't have to continue to use something like that. But yeah, so yeah, I was using that for a little while, and so now we've tried to upgrade the place enough so that I don't have to do that anymore. But yeah, so that was what it was like living here. Then of course, over time, I learned a lot of lessons. I mean, this is the house that I was in when my laptop crashed, the infamous 2023 laptop crash. For those of you who've been following for some time, you know that was a horrendous experience. Laptop crashing with all my interviews, with work saved on it. It was a horrible experience. And that is because I was not prepared for the jolts of the electricity that you have here. And so with that being said, maybe I can show you the step up, step down transformer. Looks like this. Looks like this. You guys can see it. So everything is plugged into it. So I have my fan plugged into it. That's on right now because it can get hot here. And you have, and this one I bought has the UK at the top and then US at the bottom plugs. So 110 volts at the bottom, 230 or 220 at the top. And so this has been incredibly useful for me because when I plug directly into the wall, sometimes when the light goes on and off, there's a jolt of electricity and it can fry any of your devices, which is what happened to me in 2023 in this very house, in that room back there that I'm pointing at directly, that diagonal space right there where that window is that you guys can see there. I was in there in 2023 when I got out of the shower, came into my room, and I went like this to my laptop and it was just done. It was black. Nothing was turning on. Devastating experience. Multiple $1,000s to fix. Process. So learned a lot. And I didn't even fix it. I didn't even fix it all the way. I did some work to it and extracted what I could. But it was a problem. It's a process and a problem. So that's the laptop situation. And that's why I have the step up, step down transformers. And another thing that I bought and I brought with me is this thing. Now it looks like a whistle, but you can sit it like this and it blows air, right? So in case it's really damp in the house, you can do it like this, or you can do it like this straight up in the air. And it basically helps to like dry out the air in the room. And I got dehumidifiers too. Let me show you the dehumidifiers I got. I got one for each room, and I did that specifically because it gets really, really damp here. So I bought these brand dehumidifiers. It has a little tray in it. Has a tray in it. And so I use these now to run them, and then this tray just fills up. You take it out. I can take it out now. What happened? Of course, demonstrations don't work when you're on live. And then you just pour the water out of it, and then when it's empty, just put it back in. But yeah, so I have these in every room here, and I have the transformers in every room as well to ensure that I do not, by any means, end up in a situation where I fry another device ever again. All right, guys, so that's it. I realized when I got away from the laptop, everybody on Instagram logged off because I don't know if they could hear me or they cared. But the YouTube guy's still on, so that's cool. Jada is saying, would it be cheaper to skip all that stuff once and buy it on the continent? The thing is, depends on what you're buying and where you're buying from, right? Not everything is so easy to find. So, like, as you guys know, the A letter word with the guy who's remarried and owns Washington Post delivers in 24 hours to 48 hours. And if you have a shipping company that you normally work with, you can deliver it directly to that shipping company, and they ship it to Sierra Leone, and it gets here, and they deliver it door to door. They got to wait for it to get here 3 months, but if you're not here already, you land here, you open up the box, and then you can utilize it. Finding things here are very, very difficult, specifically in Sierra Leone, because it's a net importing company, right? A country, I mean. So most of what comes in are all imports. Most everything is not manufactured in country. And so because of that, they do come with costs sometimes. And it's also difficult for things to be found, to find certain things. Like for me to find a shoe rack, I had to have someone build it. That shoe rack was built by a carpenter, a local carpenter here. The chair that I'm sitting on, I'm sure it's available somewhere, especially this sturdy of a outside chair, but I also purchased this in the States and shipped it. This ring light came from Ghana. I bought this in Ghana. I did not buy that here. Now, I've heard that these ring lights exist here. I haven't seen them, but I'm sure you can find them. But just in terms of like what you can find easily available at your fingertips, especially if you're coming back and forth, you know, that's why so many people hide when they're coming to Sierra Leone in particular, or even many countries in West Africa, because other people are going to ask them as a favor to bring things to them. Somebody asked me to bring coffee creamer. Someone's asked me to bring clothes from Fashion Nova. Someone's asked me to bring a license plate. The other way around, actually. This has been all kinds of things that people have asked me to bring, and it's because they're not easily found here in country. So it's not always cheaper, and it's definitely not always easier. In fact, it almost never is easier to find it, specifically in a country like Sierra Leone. So I hope that answers the question. Any other questions before we go? We're going to wrap this thing up in a short while, guys. I do need to get back to my hotel to spend the night. I won't be spending the night here because the hotel has 24 hours of electricity. And until my meter gets fixed tomorrow, fingers crossed, I cannot stay here. So I'll probably have to wait till Wednesday before I can stay here. So I'm going to go back to the hotel, and then I can stay here and I'll be all set. And then I can actually take some of this stuff off and like live in here. But yeah. Any other questions, comments, concerns from the audience? I'll give you guys another moment to ask your questions if you want. But if you want to know where you guys can get this merch, it's on the YouTube store. If you see it in YouTube, just check the YouTube on my channel, on the videos. On most of the videos, you'll be able to find links to the products. You can also go to AuthenticAfrican.com. At the bottom of that page, you can click on merch. You can buy the merch. So definitely let me know. Jada says she's happy for me. Thanks. I will presume you're happy for the fact that like finally I can stay in here comfortably. Because I technically could have lived here, right? Like let's not get it twisted. I have lived in very uncomfortable circumstances before. Like when I lived here in 2023, there was no generator. So what I had to do was when I had food, I would freeze it, and I would freeze these the plastic waters and put them in the freezer. And then in between times where there was light and there wasn't light, that would be when the freezer would have to just stay closed to try to keep stuff cold for extended periods of time. Like I know where I put stuff, and I'm like, all right, this is in this part of the freezer, this is in this part of the freezer, and this is there. So I'd open it up, grab it real quick, close it back up real quick to try to keep the coolness inside the freezer. And that's what I would do, because you'd have power outages for 5, 8, sometimes 10 hours at a time, even longer. And so if you want to have your food stay good, you have to keep it in the freezer. So I learned to keep stuff in the freezer. I learned to reheat food on a stove. I was living a different life. I no longer have to do that now. I bought a generator this trip that can last for multiple hours. It's a diesel generator. I know we're going to go to solar. I know, been talking about that forever. I got to go to solar. But in terms of what was easy and quick to get installed right away was this diesel generator. It's like I said, it's been running since 9 a.m. this morning. It's 10:11 p.m. right now. So it's been running for literally 13 hours nonstop, with like maybe one stop in between. And it still continues to run because it's made for industrial size work. So I was using a little $300 one before, and that I could only run for 4 hours at a time. But anyway, I've gone on way too long. I hope that answers all your questions. I need to go so I can turn this thing off and so that I can go to my hotel. But I'm excited to know that right now, I'm not lagging at all, which means that when I connect directly, so the issue is the router that I have, not the MiFi. I have an older router that needs some work, which is why I was lagging before. But I say that and then I freeze. But anyway, so Jada saying you need to start another channel so you can tell the truth about the current situation if I need to worry about my family. Nah, I can't set a separate channel for that. But the current situation, no, you don't need to worry about your family. But we can talk about that offline, Jada. I don't think so. I don't think you have to worry about it. But no, I can't start a separate channel. I have barely enough bandwidth to handle this channel. This is something that, like, when I first started YouTube, I was like, yeah, I'm going to have 2 channels. I'm going to have my original channel. I'm going to have the Authentic African channel. And I realized there's just no way to do that. I just can only focus on one type of content for you guys. I live a broad life. A lot of things I do outside of the continent of Africa, my daily work, other things that I'm doing, whatever I do that ties into Africa, I focus on. But there's a whole nother world. There's a whole nother part of me that does not have to do with the continent of Africa. But the audience that is here cares about what's happening in Africa and what I can share about my specific life. So I focus on that. But there will be other channels in the future for sure, Jada, but just not today. Oh, okay. Oh, you were saying you're happy for the collective, I guess. By the way, so for those of you who don't know, and the link will be in the description, if you want to sign up for the collective where we talk about things that we haven't talked about yet, and I'll be doing live streams and stuff like that to talk about things happening on the continent, things happening in the West, how it affects the continent, my real true thoughts and feelings, but it has to be behind the paywall. It cannot be for free on YouTube because you know how that goes. So I will be sharing those details as well as, like, for example, who installed my Starlink for me, right? Who my plumber and my electrician is that's coming in and fixing all the work that the former plumber and former electrician messed up. So, like, good quality folks that I have here in Sierra Leone, I also have in Ghana, and then my other resources that I have around the continent from different people that I've known who have lived in certain countries, people that I know who live in certain countries right now. I'm going to be sharing all of those resources on the collective. So if you go in the link in the description, you can just sign up for your name and email in that link, and it'll take you to the sign up page for the collective. And then beyond that, I got another announcement coming soon, which I won't announce until next Monday because I want to make sure that the website's done and all of that. But it has something to do with a giveaway. Put it that way. It has something to do with a giveaway. So we'll be sharing that soon. All right, guys. So with that, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next live stream. Bye, guys.